Welcome to Artists on the Air. I'm your host, Ann J. White, and today we are shining our spotlight on Seattle artist Kelly Lyles. Yes, the one in the banana suit. Yep, the one in the purple wig. Always with a smile that lights up the room. Leader of the Art Car Brigade, the artist of the Squirrel and the Pearl, and many other funny pieces. Who knew art could be so much fun? Get ready to rock your socks. Let's get this party started. The versatile, the talented artist, Kelly Lyles from Seattle, Washington. And Kelly, I am so happy that I got this moment with you because you are one of the busiest people I know.
Or I like to think so. I realize how much time I waste online, but it is usually art related. I post a lot on of other people's art on Instagram and Facebook, and then I go to art openings every night, and I go to the theater 3 times a week. So
You're like the energizer artist. And
Yep.
right now I see a lot of art behind you. Are you in a studio or an office or your home?
This is just my office area. My whole house is like this. I have a huge art collection. I always kind of joke that I'm an art hoarder because I have so much art, but it is all on the wall. It's not deer trails through the house, fire hazard. Yeah.
Well,
So
here's what I like to start out with. So we're on an elevator. We've got 9 floors. We'll never see each other again when we get to the bottom. Tell me about your art. I want to know how you describe your own art.
I dress kind of fun, and believe it or not, this is clothes I'm going to wear to the gym later. I mean, I'll probably take off the hat because I have to go to the gym today. I'm not allowed to get an out just because I'm doing this and have the theater later tonight. So why did I go off on that tangent? Oh, just because I dress sort of wacky, and I also drive art cars, and so I think people think my art will be crazier than it is. And in some sense, I have some very fun series. I like to include humor in my art, but I also am a portrait artist, and I do portraits of pets, animals, art cars, people, and my colors tend to be pretty realistic. I wish I could paint fauve and put people in green skin with purple hair. I love that kind of art, and I love really loose brushwork, but I don't do that. I'm not capable of it. I'm kind of a tight ass painter. So, so I have a variety of style, or not styles. I have one style. I just have a variety of subject matters. And I'm in recovery, so I've done a whole series called The 12 Steps, all about based on photos of drunks and junkies and embarrassing situations that we in AA find funny after the fact. But then I have my ones I'm probably the best known for is my rodents, which is visual puns, Spamster, Mice-a-Roni, Benson and Hedgehogs. I've done a new series called, this is way past, the elevator has crashed by now. We plummeted to the
And
bottom.
we're going back up. We're having so much fun. We're going to ride for a while.
My last series was Corona Queens, which is Corona means crown in Spanish. So it was just based on historical portraits of female monarchs. And then I stuck the COVID virus in their crown. So I'm just copying famous paintings and gluing some stuff on the frames. I like to glue things on frames or put them in furry frames. But I like visual puns. I like humor. But again, if somebody wants a portrait of their grandmother, I'm not doing anything silly with it. I'm painting a grandma. I have a few moments of joy and peace, the brain quieting down. Because there's a hamster wheel, like every, squirrel cage, whatever.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at those hamsters and squirrels. They really are my favorites. So
thanks.
We'll get to that in a minute.
And that's how I started on it, was because somebody said, "Oh, are you one of the women that run with the wolves?" years ago, which was such a cheesy. Anyway, sorry. But I said, no, I'm more a hamster that runs with, or I'm a woman that runs with the hamsters.
There you go. I love that. Yeah. Well, I think right now what I'd like to do is share screen. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a look at some of your photos that I have. And you don't know now what they are because it's a surprise.
It's Squirrel with the Pearl Earring. And again, based on the famous Vermeer with the pearl earring, or Girl with the Pearl Earring. And that I actually didn't. I've never been able to think of a squirrel pun prior to this. And my friend actually sent it to me. It was a contest that one of the museums, one of the the museum, when the Vermeers were on display at the Rijksmuseum, one of the when the museum loaning them, the girl with the pearl earring said, "Give us something to fill our walls. Make a squirrel with a pearl earring." That was their pun. So I just whipped one out because the deadline was literally in the next morning, and I posted it on Instagram or Facebook or something. And now the orders just keep coming, and I have 170 commissions for these. I've delivered about 120. They each have an actual little pearl, or fake pearl, but they've
Uh-huh.
each got a real earring sticking out. And it's just whatever size frames I find. And people say, "Aren't you sick of them?" But I'm not. I like them.
Oh, they're so cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and they're kind of restful because I kind of know what I'm doing. Though I've never quite figured out the formula on the head. It's still a guessing game each time, or a learning curve.
hmm and the pun squirrel with the pearl.
Pearl
Okay,
with a
here,
pearl earring.
who
Yeah,
do we have
Benson and
here?
Hedgehogs. This one's one of my favorites, and it sold right away, so I haven't seen it in years. But I really love this painting. I like the slightly darker ones versus the hit you over the head, obvious,
hmm
cutesy ones. But so this was one of my favorites, and just a reference to the cigarettes. And I bought package of cigarettes to paint from, and had no idea how expensive cigarettes were. I was just shocked, and I went to 4 stores before realizing it was a standard price. And
Wow, and this is our Benson and Hedgehogs
yep.
cigarettes, right? What's your medium that you paint with?
Well, I paint in all three mediums: oils, acrylics, and watercolor. This is acrylics, and most of these are acrylics. If I do people, I generally do them in oil, or I start with an acrylic painting, an underpainting, and then I glaze on oils because you get much better skin tones. I
Interesting.
like oil painting the best, but I'm really lazy, and it's a lot more setup and cleanup. And I'm just lazy. So I would say 90% of my work is in acrylics. When I go to figure sessions, I'll bring watercolors because it's just instantaneous, and you can whip them out in 3 hours. But
Well, he's a cutie. I like him. Okay, now we have a little mouse.
yeah, that's the newest one. I just finished that a couple days ago. I'm in a show up here on Capitol Hill, and I wanted to have a few new pieces for the show. So that's Mice Crispy Treats. Um, And I had done a Mice Krispies painting years ago that sold instantly. 6 of my paintings sold to the Washington Arts Commission to go into different schools. So
Mhm.
the original Mice Krispies, which was the cereal and more mice, sold quite a while ago. And I thought, oh, but wait a minute, I eat these little treat bars all the time. So
And
he's
this
hot
is
off
an
the.
example of, you said you oftentimes put something on the frame.
Yep.
I hope it's not mouse hair.
I have a whole stash of fake fur in my
Yeah,
studio.
yeah. Oh, he's a cutie. And then, of course, I thought this was a fun picture.
She's one of my favorites. That was from a series of just visual puns based on famous artists. So obviously that's Frida Kahlo and Frito's corn chips. And I ended up selling that one, which I kind of wish I hadn't. It's one of my favorite paintings.
This is what, cat and catsup?
Yep, it's catsup, and it says felines ketchup on the little bottle. And I still have that one, and he's another of my favorites. It's a little darker, though you don't see any blood. He's got the mouse in
Yeah.
his mouth, but that's one of my favorite paintings. And Ray-Bans, and it's an homage to Ray Charles and the blues. So he's all painted in blue and blues, but then he has sunglasses all around him spelling out his name, and obviously Ray Charles, Ray-Ban sunglasses. So another in my artist series of visual puns.
And this is car jumped over the moon.
Yeah, I've done portraits of different friends' art cars when they commission them, and this was a real cute one. I think it involved moons and stars and suns, and so that was yeah. Instead of cow jumping over the moon, it
Yeah.
was the car jumping
And I
over the
love the
moon.
frame. Okay, so here then, tell us about this. This is for an exhibition about mothers.
Yeah, it's a show I've curated, and it's been running like 9 years, I think, and we've been in 12 venues, I think, all over Washington State. And it's a show called Like Mother, Like Daughter. And I was at a party, and we were a small party, just like a little tea party kind of thing with
Mhm.
some girlfriends, and we were all for Mother's Day, and we were all talking about our amazing mothers. And someone said we should do a show about it. So I ran home and started a show. And a few of those people are in it. Not that many participated, but one by one, I've just invited. It's very curated because I don't have a lot of paintings of mothers. I'm one of the. There's probably like 4 of them that are paintings, and this is my grandmother done in sepias, like would be the era, the 20s, and then my mother in black and white. She was into fashion and was a buyer for Dayton Hudson, and briefly a model, and then me on the other side in one of my favorite dresses that I'm way too fat for now.
Yeah. It's an imperfect world.
There's so many ways to have a great life without spending a lot of money.
And this might be one way.
Yep.
So is this the current art car or a
Yep.
photo?
Yep, that's my current car, and that was just a friend taking a snapshot. I never liked that photo, but it's one of the only ones I have with me next to the car. It's called the Accessories. You can sort of see the name spelled out on the side. Yeah, EXCES, because it's the excess of accessories. So it's all shoes, purses, jewelry, and the paper dolls on the hood are magnetic, and so they're interchangeable. And they are my real clothes that I made into miniatures, or mostly. There's one outfit that is a fake. And this one, I've had 3 art cars. I've made 5 of them. But
here's one.
Yeah, that's Leopard Bernstein, and it's 700 lions and tigers and leopards. And that one's in a little art car museum in Douglas, Arizona. There's an art car museum called Art Car World, and it's really fun. And he's got at least 50 of these fantastic cars.
Well, are you part of the art car movement then? Or so tell me about this art car, because I'm accused of driving an art car, but it pales in comparison to what you have.
It's anyone who decorates their car, and there's all levels of, extremes for us. There's some people that do some splatter paint. They're not particularly attractive, but that's fine too. They're welcome. And then there's people that sculpture and weld, and they blow fire, and there's some that literally do, rotate and flip and amazing things. And those aren't daily drivers. Now, we have art car exhibits all over the country. I produce one here in Seattle with a lot of help. But it's a great way to travel the country free. And you'll find the only thing we have in common, I'd say, is a sense of humor. 90% of us are fun, or 99. There's a couple cranky people. I know a couple cranky ones. But that's out of probably 1,000 art car people I know. There's 2 that I think are jerks.
And their 3 names are? No.
Yeah.
You just make life fun. And isn't that a wonderful way to live your life?
Thanks. And I hate to put in my little plug, but, I was as miserable as the next person when I was, drinking and drugging, and I was even suicidal. I mean, I would feel so sorry for myself over stupid stuff, and sometimes major stuff. It's all kinds of really horrible, horrible things happen to me, like most women. But it's just flipping your attitude. There's a great song in Book of Mormon. It's like a light switch, where it's just about flip the switch, change the attitude. The same awful stuff that happened to me, I've now got a great life, and it makes you who you are today. But your own personal life, there's some good stuff every day, and just even if it's something tiny and petty, be grateful for it, and maybe tomorrow you got more things to be grateful for.
Amen. Do you have a couple of shows going on, or in the future, or?
Yeah, I've got a little solo show up at a place called Spark and Thread right now on Capitol Hill that is really charming. It's both a boutique and a gallery, but everything in there is handmade. So, handmade jewelry, handmade ceramics, handmade furniture. There's some fantastic, crazy furniture. And then on the walls, they have art. And this month, it's my paintings. I'm in some group shows, usually with Women Painters of Washington. I'm in another group show at a place called Fresh Mochi in Seattle that shows really fun stuff. They're only open a couple days a month, and she gets so many people in there and gets really big names. I'm like, how do you do that? Where else am I? I'm in a show called Around the Square, where everything has to be square in Pioneer Square. I'm always in, and I don't update my website with that because I don't know how. I'm low, which is kellyspot.com.
That's where I was thinking blog.
Yeah. I'm not that ambitious to do a blog, but it's KELLYSPOT.
Kelly Spot. I found it a great It was fun with all your different art. I learned a lot with your bio. So kellyspot.com for those of
Yep.
you who want more info. And also follow you on Facebook because you are a prolific, wonderful poster of all sorts of beautiful art. So Facebook with just your name, what, Kelly Lyles for
Well,
Facebook?
it's L Kelly Lyles on Facebook and Instagram. I believe both.
Okay.
L because my first name legally is Elizabeth with no E, and nobody ever spells it right. So, but I just use the L Kelly Lyles.
Okay. I just want to thank you for taking the time to be with us. And it's just been so much fun chatting with you, Kelly.
Well, thanks, and I hope you're staying in touch and you come visit when you're in Seattle and see it all in person. And
Certainly,
I'm a hell of a tour guide.
I
I love
imagine.
showing. I love driving people around and showing them. And I've had friends beg to be taken home. Like, no, I don't want to see one more thing. Like, no, we can
And
still
who
go.
knows whether you'll wind up in Sheboygan because I work with Alexis. Do you know
I love
Alexis?
Alexis. I love Alexis and Danny. They're great. I love those guys. And oh boy, do I love Danny's work. I mean, I
Mhm.
love Alexis's work too, but I'm a huge fan of Danny. And he made me, oh, you probably can't see it, this beautiful portrait in needlepoint. And it's a pin,
Oh,
but
wow. Yeah.
it fell off of my coat. And I went, yeah, that's not going out again. So
Oh, that is
isn't that
fabulous.
amazing?
Isn't he wonderful? Yeah.
Just the kindness of the man,
Hmm.
let alone the talent.
And this brings us to the end of a fun chat with Kelly Lyles, Seattle artist extraordinaire, and a little bit of a preview for two of our next artists. Alexis will be our guest in about 2 weeks on Artist in the Air, on the air, and Danny Mansmith, who created that wonderful pin for Kelly, will be on the air in early summer. So we have lots to look forward to. Thank you for listening and watching Artists on the Air with your host, Ann J. White.